My name is Cheri Honkala, and I'm a part of the Poor People's Army and the Poor People's Economic Human Rights Campaign. We stand on the shoulders as poor women in this country, on the backs of like giants throughout history. So whether it's women during slavery, women during the welfare rights movement, indigenous leaders, you name it, people that have paved the way for us. And so we have a responsibility to play our historical role in fighting for real fundamental change in this country. We're weaving together this massive network across the entire country. This is not a symbolic thing. We really see ourselves as forming a Poor People's Army in the belly of the beast here in this country, because we have a responsibility not just to uplift the lives of everybody that live in this country, but we have a responsibility to our poor brothers and sisters across the world to get busy about doing something to take on the empire. That's going to require something other than, your local nonprofit that writes a grant and gets some kind of funding. We are up against powerful forces. We need, just like they're doing globalization and they're globalizing from the top, we need to globalize from below. And we have to get serious about it. And the reason why we call it a war is because it's definitely a war that's been declared on all of us across the entire world. And we've got to get organized, we've got to get connected, and we have to get independently funded. Many people are not aware of the fact that many of the progressive organizations that are set up to this day, if you just pull back the curtain, there's puppet masters behind those curtains that are being controlled by corporations, big money, and people that want to see capitalism continue to live. And those of us that have been dying, burying our loved ones each and every day, especially under COVID, know that in order for us to put an end and to bury the system that's killing us, we have to become conscious of where the money is coming from. What happens is people say, Cheri, we have to have unity. Why are you opposed to this organization or that organization? We're not opposed to this organization or that organization. We're on a different road, and that road is about saving humanity and really ending poverty, hunger, and homelessness in this country and around the world. And it's not going to happen if we take the master's money to do it. Never throughout history has the enemy funded its own demise. So it's really, really important that we are really fighting for the true unity of our class brothers and sisters, not just in this country, but across the entire world. So we have to stop rationalizing taking corporate money. We have to break from them, and we have to begin to develop our own independent funding stream. It's not okay. It's not okay anymore to take dirty money while people are dying at its expense. There is no such thing as a kinder, gentler capitalism. Capitalism is killing us. We've got to be about the business of providing what we call projects of survival, organizing to take back the basic necessities of life, reclaiming land, reclaiming housing, feeding people, doing all of those kinds of mutual aid stuff that we've been doing for decades. And we've got to really expand upon it and put it everywhere across the entire country and reach our hands across borders as we make this fight for humanity. We have to understand that this is not a question of scarcity. This is an issue of greed. We live in a country that has abundance. So we have to move away from this notion of scarcity and that we can't solve the problem and everybody's got to fight each other. There's enough to go around for everybody. And we just have to get better at taking care of each other and taking care of humanity and playing our historical role instead of just being worried about me and mine or me and my organization. True unity means taking on the real beast. If we're soldiers in the Poor People's Army, We've got to start showing each other that we've got each other's backs. We've got to start taking care of each other. And so that means, we've got to make some hard decisions. There is no such thing as affluent revolutionaries. This is a struggle. It's going to be hard. But by taking care of each other, we will be able to push this struggle forward so that we can make a fight for all of humanity. We need to build independent political alliances. So whatever area of work you're working in, we're up, all of us are suffering. This is a war that we're dealing with here. Your alignment needs to be with the poor, with immigrants, with farmers, with low-wage workers, with doctors, with nurses, with teachers, you name it. All of us need to become a part of this growing poor people's army in this country. All of us are 1 or 2 paychecks away or a healthcare crisis away from the absolute bottom. So we have to figure out, how do we not rely on the very corporate money that's killing us to take care of each other so that we can take the road to real liberation and changing the kind of country that we live in to be a system that's about human needs and not about corporate greed. Stop being ashamed. It's not your fault. This is the fault of the actual system that we have in this country that has never valued us, any of us, or any of our children. Yes, some people have had a better seat on the Titanic, but definitely the Titanic is going down and all of us are on it. So we need to figure out how to work together, build the rafts, get the hell off of this Titanic, and lift up all of humanity. We're not going to do it if we are still holding on to this idea that just me and mine, or our organization over here, or our organization over there. True unity means taking on the enemy, taking on corporate America, and making sure that we're committed to creating real class unity with each other here in this country and around the world. Whether or not you think you can just sit this one out, you really can't afford to be on the sidelines watching this like you're a spectator watching a sport. This is not going to pass by your family. This is going to impact all of us. The Poor People's Army, we have tools too. We have our own resources, and those resources are growing. And we need you to join in with us. We need to be about the business of planting, of growing as many fruits and vegetables and healthy food that we possibly can, of all of us working in those gardens. We need to be working together to collect the necessary food and water and other resources that we're able to distribute to folks. We need to go and be about the business of finding doctors and nurses that are willing to step forward and meet some of the medical needs of people. We need to create this real cooperative society so that all of us can ensure that there's a future for ourselves and for our children. We need you to go home. We need you to educate yourselves, become committed to political education. Get off the television. Look for the real education and the real information. Come join us. Be a part of our political education and our study groups, because it's really important that we no longer keep those rose-colored glasses on, that we take them off, that we become wide awake, and that we look behind the curtains, that we use our critical thinking skills, and that we begin to put a face on the corporations and the people that we're really up against. This fight, the building of the Poor People's Army, it's a numbers game. And the lines have been drawn. We need you to figure out whose side you're on. We need you to step forward. We need you to donate. Go to our website. We need you to get involved. Commit 1 hour, 2 hours a week. whatever you possibly can, because we need to build this thing block by block, city by city, small towns, you name it, in order to make a true fight for all of humanity. Join us. There's a role for you to play in this thing.